Now, of course, they also ID people when they get on Obamacare, but that's not working out too well right now. The GAO has just launched an Obamacare sting operation, and almost all the fake insurance applicants were approved. Now, this is a story from National Journal. They point out that an undercover operation found the majority of fake Obamacare applications submitted were approved by the health law's enrollment system. They say the eligibility verification system isn't working. Well, what about Obamacare is working? This is what they found. Fake applicants were able to get subsidized insurance coverage in 11 of 18 attempts, according to the report from the Government Accountability Office. That's a nonpartisan group. They say the agency conducted the sting operation to test the strength of the Affordable Care Act's eligibility verification requirement. But I guess maybe it really wasn't racist because they really didn't look at the IDs, right? They just let them go through. So that's how I guess he gets his pass from that. We should understand that what's happening in this country with the Cloward and Piven strategy is, of course, socialism at the bottom and fascism at the top. One story that illustrates that, I think, better than anything else is this story from Organic Prepper. They say the Department of Agriculture in Michigan has forced a co-op farm there to dump 248 gallons of organic milk and to break 1,200 free-range eggs, and, of course, an undisclosed amount of fresh cream, butter, and cheese was also destroyed. They point out in this article from organicprepper.ca, the state of Michigan decided to direct its resources towards cracking down on a small food co-op in Standish, Michigan, for having the audacity to provide milk, butter, cream, and eggs to people who bought shares in the organic dairy. Now, listen to what they did with the eggs. They said they had 100 dozen eggs, and they required those 1,200 eggs to be broken individually while they watched and inspected it. They also required that the 248 gallons of milk had to be dumped with a sprayer. And of course, they had Michigan Department of Agriculture people witnessing that. What they're claiming is that they were selling food without a license. However, the farm is a co-op and people have shares. So they basically came in with their regulators and said, your shares don't match our definition of what they should be. And they ask in this article here, they said, what is wrong with the world when real farming is treated like a crime and fresh food is treated like crystal meth? Now, of course, what's behind this is protecting big agri. And the way they do that is they make it difficult for small farms to compete. They try to drive them out of business. We saw this first in the dairy producing states that were real big about that. Wisconsin, they came after raw milk farmers, but now Michigan has made this a fine art. They're going after hog farmers, everyone who's a small organic farmer. We've seen the same thing happen in Hugo Chavez's socialist Venezuela, of course. There, the bankers got 700% return on their investment, while the people that he was supposedly protecting with socialism, while the people are now having to leave the country to get water, medicine, and of course, food. Now, there's an interesting turn of events in the Ukraine today. The U.S. government has been making its case to go after Russia on social media. And we have on social media now a YouTube video that was put up 1 month ago that purportedly shows Ukrainian fighter jets hiding behind a passenger plane, pulling away, dropping bombs, and then hiding behind the plane once again. Now, whether or not this video is true or not is, we don't know if this is propaganda. We don't know if it's purely a coincidence, if the date has been changed. But of course, they're talking about how this is a threat, how it was set up to essentially provoke an attack on a civilian jetliner. That's the problem with using social media to make your case as to what happened, to investigate this. But of course, that's the only data that we get from the American government. We've seen some radar information as well as some satellite imagery from the Russian side. We have not seen it from the U.S., merely assurances that they've seen everything and they know exactly what's happening. Well, a lot of people are not happy with that, not just in the U.S., but of course abroad as well. It appears, according to an economist, Jim Willey, he's a financial analyst actually, he thinks that what's behind all the NSA spying is Germany being upset with the way they're being pushed around by the American government and possibly looking to join the BRICS. Now, he claims that Germany is preparing to ditch the unipolar system that's backed by NATO and the U.S. in favor of joining the BRICS. Now, of course, the BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. He says he thinks that they're looking for details with the NSA spying on Germany, that they're looking for details for a secret movement in Germany to get away from the dollar and to join the BRICS. And, of course, we point out in this article by Paul Joseph Watson, earlier this month, the BRICS nations announced the creation of a new $100 billion anti-dollar alternative IMF bank to be based in Shanghai and chaired by Moscow. Now, of course, we all know how devastating it will be for the U.S. economy if they abandon the petrodollar. But Jim Willey points out another big consequence. He says the U.S. is basically telling Europe you have two choices here. Join with us in a war against Russia, with sanctions against Russia. Join with us in constant war and conflicts, isolation, destruction to your economy, denial of your energy supply, removal of contracts. Join with us in this war and in sanctions because we really like to keep the dollar regime going. And he says they're getting really tired of being pushed around. He says we're pushing Germany. He said don't worry about France, don't worry about England, but worry about Germany. They have 3,000 companies who are doing active business right now, and they are not going to join the sanctions, period. So the day that they abandon the dollar as a standard is a day that we're going to radically see our lives changed here in this country. We're going to see massive economic hardship. Well, stay with us right after the break. We're going to have a story I think you might find interesting. Remember those old-fashioned things called parents? Well, the feds are now looking to deploy robots as personal trainers. We'll be right back.
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.